WhiskyJason here, whiskey from the viewpoint of an American over here in Germany tasting rare and exotic whiskeys. Today I have a single cask from Tomatin, Whiskybase number 198565, and that is called a selected single cask bottling. That's an important word here, a phrase. Tomatin selected single cask bottling. I looked online at Whiskybase and I found about 10 different bottlings in the year 2021. I'm sure there's going to be different ones in 2022 and so on. Germany had one. It was a cooperation between a place called WhiskyJason and Flickenschild in my old hometown of Itzehoe here. And this is for the Netherlands. So first of all, I must admit that the packaging is something I like. So you open up this part, and you open up that part, and then you pull out the beautiful bottle here. Nice bottle, by the way. Very, very well done. The packaging does not feel cheap in any way. Whoops, you have to do the left and then right. It's got a little magnet there. It's got the little spiel on the back, and what they always do is they have to put the nice little label here. So if you a barcode just for this bottle, so you can scan it, and you have the information here. It's 50. Is it 56? No, it's 59.3%. 10-year-old, so we do know it's a single cask. It was bottled on the 2nd of August 2021, and it was distilled on the 26th of January 2011. And that's the interesting part, which I'm going to talk about in a moment. What type of cask was it in? So before I go there, I'm going to take out my comparison whiskey. Oh, by the way, 93 euros. A tad bit too much for me. Still available. Came out November 2021. 299 bottles. Cask number 207. Still there. Still on the website in the Netherlands of DrankDozijn. It was a special bottling for their 10th anniversary. They did a lot of different bottlings for the 10th anniversary. All right, so where is my container? Here we go. Now this is a single cask from Glencadam. This is a Germany exclusive for Kirsch. This is the single cask. And I really like this bottle. We have a 64.9%. This is 2010, so this is only a 10-year-old whiskey. Instead of the, this is an 11-year-old whiskey instead of the 10-year-old over here. And this was actually matured in a first fill bourbon barrel. Now, normally today, 2022, let's go back to the year 2021 before we had an economic crisis. What we would do is we would actually take a barrel in Kentucky, make it at a cooperage there, fill it with Kentucky straight bourbon, leave it for 4+ years, empty it, check to make sure it's still tight, and then send it on a container over to Europe. Yeah, after the barrel has been checked, it's put on that container, sent over to Europe, and in Europe, maybe they check it again, bring it to the distillery, fill it up, put it in a warehouse, and leave it set for, in this case, 11 years. They empty it out, and therefore it's no longer first fill bourbon. Now, that's actually the best casks, the most expensive casks you can buy. What happens in the world of whiskey over here in Europe is you buy the cask once and you use it 3, maybe even 4 times. Once in America, 3 to 4 times over here. And then what you can do, and this is what's really interesting, is what they did here. Now, this is called a recharred hogshead. Now, I was in Scotland in May of 2022. 13 different distilleries. 13 different distilleries. I asked the question, where do you have your fresh first fill hogshead casks? And they looked at me and said, we have some hogshead sherry casks. I said, no, not sherry casks. Sherry casks are prepared in Spain or Portugal. They're seasoned, they're brought over. I'm talking about those hogsheads where you used to take 5 bourbon barrels, take those staves, make 4 hogsheads out of it, have new lids, bottom and top, and then those hogsheads. Again, we haven't seen those for years. Now, in the back, there might be some hogsheads that were used twice already, and they might be filled a 3rd time, but we don't buy new hogsheads. 13 different distilleries saying exactly the same thing. Why? Because back then, let's go back to the 1980s, 1990s, even up to 2000, a container was very expensive. Well, to 2022, they're very expensive as well, but 2021, 2020, they were a fourth. Yeah, they were 75% cheaper than what they are now, but it was just not worth the trouble. You'd put that barrel into a container, you could fit in enough barrels in one container, send it over, and you don't have all that manpower. Coopers are expensive, coopers are rare. There are not many cooperages, or not many distilleries that have a cooperage themselves. Loch Lomond has one, Tullibardine has one. I don't think there's a single place on Islay that has a cooperage. I might be wrong. I forgot. I was at all the different distilleries, but I did ask around, and it's like, we have to send them back over to the mainland if something's wrong there. Even down in Springbank and Glen Scotia and Campbelltown, they said, sorry, we don't have a cooper here. We can do basic repairs on site, but we can't actually rechar a cask. Now, what does that mean? What does it mean? So you take a bourbon barrel, in the old days, you'd actually disassemble it, put those staves in a container, put the rings in a container, send all that over to Scotland, not sure about the rings, the steel rings, and then actually reassemble them in Scotland. And then you use them once, you'd use them twice, you'd use them a third time, and the fourth time, these are inactive containers. You could be putting in a glass, ceramic, or anything else, it's about the same. Because wood will not impart any more flavor, it will not add anything, it will not take anything away. It's basically that old wood. Now, you pay just once for the cask, and you can use it as many times as you want. So, the Scottish people are a little bit inventive, and they're like, why don't we reuse the cask and rejuvenate that cask? So what they did is they created a method of taking off those lids, the bottom and the top, scraping out a little bit the inside of the barrel, maybe just a couple millimeters, a quarter of an inch, and then recharring the cask, actually having a flamethrower, actually charring that wood. There's a wonderful video online where there's actually a robot doing that in Speyside, which I thought was fantastic. And it was actually shaving, toasting, and then actually putting out the flames and putting that barrel someplace else for someone to put the lids back on there, do a check to make sure it doesn't leak, and then send it off to the distilleries. And that's what they did here. So we have a first fill bourbon, straight from probably Kentucky or Tennessee. Yes, Tennessee is classified as a bourbon barrel, and this is a recharred oak. This could be interesting. The distillery, Glencadam, I love. It's a canvas that I can really, really enjoy putting things on top. And that the 10 from Glencadam is one of my favorite whiskeys for a great price. This, a little bit expensive with its 93 euros, but on the nose, this is good. I get vanilla, honey, oak, daisies. I don't know why I'm getting daisies. Floral daisies. And that honey. It's we have acacia honey. It's a special type of honey. This is really good. I like this a lot. This is going to be a B whiskey. Over here, I love this. Now today, this is a B- whiskey. This is very good, but this has more depth, more complexity, more backbone, more flavor. This is a little bit on the simplistic side of life. Tomatin, remember the word. We have here selected single cask bottling. It's going to run you about 100 euros. Excellent, excellent stuff. Some of them are sherry, some of them are bourbon, some of them are recharred oak. They have all a range of different things. In different countries, you usually get 1 or 2 bottles a year. I can recommend them. Pricey, but good. Cheers. What for me is really, really interesting, the 59.3%, the alcohol's there, but that's good. That's got that caramel. That's got that that honey. That's really, really interesting. Herbal notes going on there. Now, once I actually did a little bit of rice. Yeah, and this rice I burnt it a tiny little bit. I know in the Persian community, my friends from Iran and so on love that burnt rice at the bottom. They do it on purpose, and that's one of the things the children fight over. I don't like it. And I did that once, and I was like, my wife, there's a funny type of smoky, charred moment going on. I was like, yeah, I burnt the rice. And I get a little bit of that burnt moment here. I don't know if it comes from the cask or it comes from the process of distilling. Don't think so. I think it's a cask. I think it's that cask burnt moment. Sometimes you get into bourbon. They talk about that smoke. If you ever go to Islay and you know what peaty smoke is, totally different. But that's a little bit in there. It's very, very malted barley moment. And it's got a tiny, tiny little bit of that cream. I don't know if it's a cream caramel. I don't know if it's a plum. I don't know if it's it's very good. I like this a lot. This is a whiskey with, I use the word backbone. This has flavor. This has intensity. This is something I'd like to just dig deeper and enjoy on more occasions. This, the Glencadam, which I really loved. I gave this a very, very good score. I think I even gave it an A-. Today is going to be a B-. It's just a little bit, okay, the temperature, I'm at 80 plus degrees Fahrenheit over here. This is just a little bit too hot today. It is 64.9%, 5% percentage points more than that. It's sold out. The 219 bottles sold out very, very quickly. So that's the difference here between a first fill bourbon cask, 200 liters, 219 bottles. Here we have our hogshead, 250 liters, and we're running around the area of 299 bottles. Cheers. Both of these are good, different good. This is better today. That's why this is getting a solid B. This is getting a B-. Value for money, both of these are between 90 and 100 euros. I think for this type of product from Tomatin, the selected single cask bottling, we are going to have to live with these prices. We can ignore these prices and go out and buy a Tomatin. What's a typical Tomatin that you can buy? I'm really, really not. The Tomatin 12 you can buy. The Legacy you can buy. So it's interesting. Compass Box has the Orchard House has Tomatin in it. There are different other Tomatins you can go off, 14 and 16 and 18 and whatever they're all called. Doesn't Tomatin also make the Chubakken or the Kobakken? So let's see here. Anything else? Wow, a lot of Tomatins here. Connoisseur's Choice. Yeah. So according to my list here, I have a total of. Can I see how many bottles I have? About. I have a total of 1,394 different Tomatin bottlings on Whiskybase alone. All right, very, very good. The 14-year-old, the Kubokken is released. That was 2013. The first PD Tomatin, and so on and so on. All right, I like. Value for money is going to be a C, though, C-. Not something you need, but something you can buy. I just love this nose. The flavor. Water. It's just still there. It's a middle long finish. That honey, that caramel, that herbalness. I like. A little bit of a breakfast tea moment going on there. Well done. Well done. DrankDozijn for selecting this. Well done for offering it. I'm amazed that it's still out there as a product to be bought. I would have thought the 299 bottles would have been after 8 or 10 months gone by now. Even the reviews online are just perfect. They're nice. Many people like that. This with water gets better. Dilute it down to 55, 58%. The 64.9%. Wow, the whole time it was on its head. That was good, Jason. It's just a little bit too much for me at this time, at this temperature, at this moment. Question of the day. What other bottles do you know of that were actually matured in a recharred hogshead? Would interest me. American oak hogshead. And the second thing, what is your favorite Tomatin bottling expression? Thank you very much. Like, share, subscribe, tell others, and don't forget to comment. Whiskey Jason here. I like. All the best. And don't forget our favorite word of the day. That is called our selected single cask bottling from Tomatin. Bye-bye.